Hi everybody! We are on day 84. The high in my area is 63 degrees, so we're sticking with the coral. For the next row, we're going to do 3 double crochets in the first space and every space all the way through, and then we're going to end with 1 double crochet. Please remember there are knit picks and Amazon affiliate links below. And also, I hope you have a wonderful day. I think I'll share some Reddit stories today, and enjoy the rest of this video. I know I put in my description I started crocheting from a friend, but I worked at a call center and we were having a really downtime. Like there was hardly any calls, hardly any emails or anything coming in. So I was just stuck at the office. So at the time I had a coworker who was just making a baby blanket. I believe she had a family member who just had a baby or was pregnant. So she was making a blanket and it was so pretty, so beautiful. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. I had tried crocheting a couple years ago. My mom was teaching me and I got it a little bit, but it didn't quite stick. So she taught me, and at first I was mad at her because I would crochet something and she's like, good. And then she would just take it apart. And I'm like, but it was good. Why'd you take it apart? And she's like, you need to keep practicing. So she kept doing that until I got like a straight row of like single crochets. And she's like, good. And then she taught me how to do granny stitches. And that's how I started crocheting. And I'm grateful to her because I love crocheting now. So I found this subreddit under r/crochet. And this woman made a post that says, what is your crochet origin story? Why did you decide to learn? And her response is, I'm really tall for a woman, over 6 feet. And I hit my height young. With this height came larger than average head, hands, and feet. I always felt left out while I was in high school in terms of cute accessories. The winter hats and mittens never fit, and the men's section only had your standard black, gray, and navy. And I lived in the Midwest at the time, where winter is about 6 months long. My friends would always wear cute socks to school or at sleepovers, and there I was rocking my white and gray men's Hanes. And one day I decided if stores weren't going to make things I could wear, I was going to make it myself. So I learned to crochet and knit and sew. I also discovered the joy of making my own blankets. My mom always kept a basket of throw blankets in the living room to use while reading or watching TV. But we never seemed to have a blanket that could cover my feet and upper body at the same time. Now all my blankets are about 6 feet or longer. Now, nearly 16 years later, I still love to crochet and knit, embroider, cross stitch, quilt, and sew. It's primarily my kids who benefit from it, and I'm trying to make them all the things before they're old enough to say, Mom, I'm not wearing/using that. So what about you, my crochet friends? What got you into crochet? Okay, so here's some responses. I took up knitting first, but was not good at it, and then swapped to crochet 7 years ago, all because I fidget a lot and have a very short attention span. I found it almost impossible to watch a movie or TV show without checking on my phone or chatting, much to my roommate's annoyance or getting distracted. I needed a hobby that kept my hands busy and helped me focus, and crocheting worked like a charm. I've since taken up embroidery during the first lockdown and just crafting in general. That's nice. Okay, so the next response is, my maternal grandmother passed away when I was really young, like 3. One of my mother's sisters was a drug addict and stole many of her things before the estate was doled out. I was meant to get things like my grandmother's wedding ring, but all I was left was a single blue crochet hook, size F. So I learned because that was all I had from her. Oh, that's sad and sweet at the same time. Okay. One lady, I was depressed. Another response, my Oma taught me when I was 8 years old as a distraction because my single mom ended up in a coma after a horrendous car accident. She's fine now and walked out of the hospital when I was 10. I've kept it up over 20 years. My Oma passed from COVID last year, so crochet keeps her memory fresh in my mind and helps me feel connected to you. Oh, okay. Another response. My mom tried to teach me as a kid and told me I was too stupid to ever learn it. As an adult, I told myself knitting first and then crochet to prove her wrong. I'm much better than she ever was now. Ooh. Okay. Okay, another response. Both my mother and grandmother taught me when I was a kid, but quickly lost interest in it. My mom and grandma were pretty prolific with it, and made baby sweaters and blankets all the time. Then in high school, we got a cat, and I thought it would be cute to make him a sweater. I asked my mom for guidance, and she was super happy to help me and taught me a ton about measurement and construction. Baby arms are different than cat arms with one little sweater, and I made it. After that, I just got more and more into it, especially as an adult. Cool. Another response. I bought a pushing kit from Stitch and Story. Sorry, I don't know what a pushing kit is. I had just gotten into cross stitch and embroidery, so I told myself I wasn't looking for a new hobby. I was just going to do this one kit. Problem was, I could not get the hang of it. It was fluffy yarn, which didn't help. I was so annoyed. I didn't want to admit defeat and admit I wasted $40 on the kit. So I bought a skein of yarn to practice with until I could get the hang of it. 6 months later, yes, really, I finally got the hang of it. And the rest was history. Still need to finish up the pushing plush though. Another response. Okay. After a mostly unsuccessful phase of gardening, my husband got me an I always say this wrong, amigurumi plant kit for Christmas. Some plants that you can't kill. Okay, thanks. I figured I had to learn how to crochet before making the amigurumi. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing it so wrong. 2 years and many hats, scarves, blankets, gloves, sweaters, and others later, I've only made one of the plants. Okay, this is another one about a grandmother. My great-grandmother used to crochet, so I have a bunch of her things laying around, and I always just kind of curious. I knitted for a while, but ended up dropping it and never really picking it back up. Anyways, at the summer camp I used to go to, there were a couple of hours each day set aside for lake time. But my best friend was dealing with some anxiety at the time and never took the swim test, so she couldn't do any of the water-based activities. The only other option was crocheting in the nurse's cabin with a couple of nuns, and she really didn't want to do it alone. And I didn't want to spend lakefront time without her. It turned out to be a lot of fun. The nun who taught us had crazy decades of experience under her belt, and she was in the process of making a new lace altar veil for the chapel. But she was really patient with us newbies. So every day we'd go to the nurse's cabin, drink tea, crochet, and listen to crazy stories from a couple of the most interesting people I have ever met. When I got home that summer, I bought some yarn and a couple of hooks, and every time I crochet, it feels like I'm back with my friend drinking tea again. Oh, that's so sweet. Another response. I'm going to read about 3 more. I've been vaguely curious about knitting or crocheting for a while. My mom does a lot of quilting, so she's been an influence, and I didn't really have a creative hobby. But I was afraid to begin because I'm a lefty and I didn't want to learn everything in reverse. Then it says SO, got a job, significant other, got a job with the same schedule as me. So we've been spending a lot more time together. He's not a big reader and loves movies, so I've been spending a lot of time watching movies and feeling like I wanted something to do while watching other than playing on my phone. I decided to just learn crochet, righty, and it's been working fine. My grandma taught me when I was little. She's been gone for over 15 years now, and I can still picture her so clearly, sitting in her chair crocheting. People drag me because I can't or don't like to cook. Someone got snotty once and said, "Why didn't your mom or grandma teach you how to cook?" I said, "Because they taught me to sew and crochet instead." People are rude. Okay. This is the last response I guess I'll read. Got lost on TikTok and found people who crocheted. I follow a lot of small business accounts. That's why I stumbled onto crochet. Thought it was beautiful. Bought a crochet and a small amount of yarn. I have a local shop that makes yarn balls of way you want. I picked up 10 grams to start and tried following a tutorial. Did understand the tutorial, called a friend whom I know crochets. She taught me for 2 hours straight. I cried because I didn't understand. 6 days ago, I picked up my crochet hook again and I tried making it work. And after practicing a bit, I got the hang of it. Oh, that's cool. Oh, okay. I'm gonna read like 2 more. I know I said 1 more. I've always wanted to learn. My paternal grandmother tried teaching me when I was younger, but I never picked it up. I've thought about it over the past couple years and decided to begin learning in January. I'm now in recovery and it helps me keep my mind and hands occupied. I have started a blanket I'm calling my sobriety blanket, and I hope to finish it within the first 90 days of my sobriety. But I think if I get burnt out, finishing it within the first year would still be okay with me. I'm hoping it would still hold a special place in my heart. Well, these are some good reasons and stories. So if you want to, please share in the comments what's your crochet or knitting story and how did you start. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you have a wonderful day.